Have you ever just looked around at the world and thought, why is everyone so different? Why are some people completely focused on just getting by, day to day, while others are chasing money and success, and then you have this small handful of people who seem to be on a totally different quest for meaning? Well, today, we're diving into an incredible spiritual framework that acts like a map for the soul's journey through life.
But before we jump in, we've got to give a huge shout out where it's due. This whole explainer was put together by the amazing Ushri Top, who took the time to summarize the profound teachings from a 2016 lecture by the consultant and lecturer Daria. Seriously, their work is what gives us this fantastic map to explore today.
So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? It's something that I think we all puzzle over. And this ancient framework, well, it offers a really compelling answer. It maps out the soul's journey as it progresses through 4 really distinct stages of consciousness, which it calls castes.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start at the very beginning with Caste 1, then move into the social whirlwind of Caste 2. After that, we'll tackle the power dynamics of Caste 3, and finally, arrive at the spiritual path of Caste 4. And stick around, because at the end, we're going to uncover the really fascinating way a soul actually travels between these stages.
All right, let's start our journey at the absolute foundation of the soul's development, Caste 1. Also known as the workers. You can think of this as the bedrock, the starting point upon which everything else is built. And believe it or not, this is the largest single group of souls on the entire planet.
Yeah, you heard that right. About 3 billion people. That's nearly half of the world's population. These are what we'd call young souls, people who are really at the very beginning of their long spiritual path of incarnation.
So for this group, the focus is all on the physical world. Life is about tangible, concrete things. Your job, getting food on the table, a good night's sleep. It's often a simple, repetitive routine. And their growth comes from that hands-on labor, from real-world experiences. It's because their soul's hard drive, so to speak, is still pretty fresh. This means they are almost entirely guided by external systems. Family, culture, tradition. We're talking 90 to 95% of their actions are just driven by the societal program.
And this quote just captures it perfectly. The absolute pinnacle of this stage isn't some philosopher or abstract thinker. No, it's a master craftsperson, someone with golden hands. After lifetimes of practice, their genius is in making things, in perfecting the physical form, not in creating something totally new out of thin air. Okay, so after mastering the physical world, the soul graduates to a completely new arena, the incredibly complex, dynamic world of social interaction. So let's say hello to Caste 2, the merchants.
Now, this group represents over 1/3 of the population. This is the stage where the ego really starts to wake up, and the focus shifts dramatically toward relationships, personal ambition, and, of course, material success.
These are your traders, your networkers, your deal makers. For them, life is a giant social game, and the way you keep score is with material things, money, status, who you know. They are absolute masters at playing this game. But they're still largely playing by society's rules. About 80% of their drive is still coming from that external programming. The big difference now is they're learning how to use that system to get ahead personally.
Okay, this slide is where things get really interesting. Look at the difference in motivation. For someone in Caste 2, spirituality is often just another trend to be consumed, kind of like fashion or the latest diet fad. They might go to a psychic, sure, but the questions are always going to be about money or finding love. But for a Caste 4 soul, spirituality is the absolute core of their entire existence. It's not a hobby, it's who they are.
The soul's evolution takes another massive leap. After you've mastered the game of social status, the focus shifts. It's no longer about accumulating resources, it's about directing them. This is the realm of power, of leadership, and of Caste 3, the warriors.
So this caste includes the world's leaders, its managers, politicians, and military commanders. It's a smaller group. You can see we're moving up the pyramid, about 1 billion people. But wow, their influence is just immense. For these folks, the driving force is control and influence. The whole point is to manage, to lead, to direct things, and it doesn't matter if it's a small team or an entire country. They trade that huge social network of Caste 2 for a very small, very strategic inner circle of trusted allies. See, it's not about being popular anymore, it's about being effective. This right here highlights such a crucial point. True leadership is a quality of the soul. It's something that's been honed over many lifetimes. You just can't buy it. The strategic mind of a Caste 3 warrior is operating on a completely different frequency than the transactional mind of a Caste 2 merchant.
And finally, after mastering the physical, the social, and the political worlds, we arrive. We're at the rarest, the most inwardly focused stage of the journey. This is the destination of the old soul.
The numbers here are just mind-bogglingly small. We're talking hundreds of thousands, maybe a million people in the entire world. These are incredibly old souls who have moved through all the other stages over countless lifetimes.
From the moment they're born, they're just different. They're the ones always asking why. They're searching for meaning, for purpose. Their primary operating system isn't logic, it's intuition. And because of this, they often feel like total outsiders in a world that just doesn't share their depth or sensitivity. Why? Because they're almost completely free from that societal programming we talked about. Their system influence is 20% or even less. They're living by a powerful internal compass instead.
Now, this quote might sound a little harsh, but stick with me. It brilliantly illustrates the profound challenge they often face. It's not about being arrogant. It's about the genuine, real difficulty of trying to navigate a world that operates on a completely different and often a much, much harsher frequency than their own.
Okay, so this is the million-dollar question, right? How does a soul actually make that leap from one caste to the next? It doesn't just happen automatically. It involves this fascinating and honestly sometimes painful process of forgetting what you know in order to grow.
So picture a master salesperson, right? They're at the absolute peak of Caste 2. Their talent is charming clients, closing deals, it's effortless. But to become a real leader, to step into Caste 3, that easy charm might just suddenly stop working. And you'd wonder why. Well, the universe cleverly suppresses those old mastered skills. It forces them out of their comfort zone. They can't rely on their old sales tricks anymore. They have to learn to inspire, to strategize, to actually lead.
And this is just a perfect real-world example of that. What looks like failure from a normal, everyday perspective is actually divine guidance in disguise. Her soul is literally being steered away from a path it has already mastered, the path of the merchant, and it's being pushed toward its higher calling as a sage and a healer. So that failure is actually a huge success for her soul's evolution. So, as we wrap this up, just take a second to reflect. This isn't about judging yourself or anyone else. It's about understanding. Seeing where you might fit on this incredible map can give you amazing insights into your own strengths, your personal challenges, and the totally unique path that your soul is walking in this lifetime.
And one more time, our deepest gratitude goes out to Daria Orion for her profound teachings, and of course, to Oshri Top for compiling all this wisdom and making it so accessible to all of us. It's a framework that really, truly brings a sense of order to the beautiful mess of life. Thank you so much for joining us.